One, the writing, Miss Mass, that is a crazy sentence. The fact that I have adrenaline over my washing machine is crazy. I need to like get out more. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Maddie if you're new here, and this is my cozy YouTube channel. Today I have the house to myself again. My boyfriend is out at an event, so that means we are doing another cozy reading vlog. But tonight we are going to be reading Crown of Midnight. Last reading vlog we did was Throne of Glass, and I absolutely loved it. I am reading this series for the first time, so we are moving on to Crown of Midnight, and then after this we will do Assassin's Blade, I think is what I've decided on where to throw in that book. But today we're focusing on Crown of Midnight, the second book in Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series. So we ended Throne of Glass with Celaena winning the King's Championship, and that was pretty much the only information we got about that. We don't know what kind of work she's doing yet, and we don't really know where her relationships stand with the boys. I am currently, and don't see myself switching if I'm being honest, but I'm currently Team Kale, not Team Dorian. I just don't think a relationship would work with Dorian because of his dad. Like, I don't know if I personally could get past that, but maybe she's a better person than me. I don't know. Anyways, right now I am Team Kale for going into Crown of Midnight. I'm hoping we get some like Kale-Lena content in this one. And then also I still would love to see some Nehemia and see how her friendship with Celaena blossoms in that. And then I still have so many questions about the tower, like the clock tower with the gargoyles and the word marks. Something fishy is going on in that clock tower, and I need to know what it is. I need our girl to just go on in there and tell me what's in there. Nehemia hints at like Celaena having like old powers, or like I don't really know what she's hinting at, but she says she has many names and she's not who she thinks she is, and there's something like inside of her that is powerful that she hasn't released. Like, there's a lot Nehemia foreshadows to Celaena potentially having like powers, or I'm guessing potentially being fae, maybe like a high fae. So that's kind of my predictions of where I'm at right now. But we are gonna get into reading this. We are starting from the front, from front to back, hopefully tonight. And I know that's a lot, but it is only 3 o'clock right now, so I do think I can maybe get through 400 pages by like midnight if I'm quick. It's not too bad. It's a pretty standard sized book. We're looking at, I think it's like, yeah, 418 pages. So realistically, if I start right now at 3 o'clock and I don't put it down, maybe I can finish around midnight, maybe. So let's dive right into Crown of Midnight. Does she actually kill for the king? That's gonna be so disappointing. I thought she would like refuse to do his dirty work. But the first chapter is literally her killing Lord Neural. What? She doesn't kill them. I knew our girl wouldn't do that. I knew it. Thank God. That was really stressful there for a second. Man. Oh, I was worried she was corrupted. No, she doesn't kill them. I don't know what she does with them, but she stages a body. It says still she had to produce a murder scene and a body. She'd given Lord Neural the same choice she'd given Sir Carlin. Die right then or fake his own death and flee. Flee far and never use his given name again. So far, of the 4 men she'd been assigned to dispatch, all had chosen escape. Well, yeah, no shit. Okay, good. Oh, that makes me feel better. I hope she tells Kale at some point because he'll be relieved. He's like not happy that she's killing all these people, and neither is Dorian, but right now Dorian's on my bad side, so I don't really care what he thinks. But we haven't seen Nehemia yet, so still waiting on that. But thank God she doesn't murder people for this crazy man. Ugh. Ugh. That stressed me out, honestly. Okay, so we have met a couple new characters so far. We have met Roland Havillard, I'm gonna say Havillard. We've met Roland Havillard, who is Dorian's cousin from like a small country or city or something. And he is like very sketchy. I really don't like him so far. And neither does Kale. And I trust Kale with my life at this point. So I'm going to go with he's shady. We have also met Mort, the door knocker at Elena's tomb room thing. And I'm obsessed with him. He is so sassy and so funny. I have been listening to the audiobook while I read, and the narrator gives him this like funny, like almost Boston accent, and it's the cutest thing ever. I really, really like Mort, so I hope he's in this book quite a bit. But yeah, so that is who we've met so far, and we still have not seen any of Nehemia. So I'm kind of sad. I wonder if she's not in this book. But that would be kind of weird because she was like a very big focal point for book 1. So I'm not sure. But yeah, we're chugging along. OMG, Kaltain is not a character I thought we would see again. I thought her story arc was kind of done. But she's in the dungeons. Why didn't they just send her home? And she literally asked that too. She's like, he's ruined everything. I don't even know why. Why not just send me home instead? Yeah, seriously, why do they have her locked up in the dungeons? That's crazy. But it sounds like Parrington, like, does bad things to her in the night. And the Night Watch just, like, lets it happen. She has bruises on her wrists and stuff. So she's not a character that I thought I would feel bad for, but my heart is really hurting for my girl Kaltain right now, and that's so sad, but it has to be important, so otherwise Sarah probably wouldn't put this in because Selena went to visit her. But even Kaltain said Roland is shady, and now we know what Roland did to Kale and Lilith, I think was her name, Lillian or something, who Kale liked, but he like Roland like slept with her and made Kale walk in on it. So that's just shitty. Like that's a low blow. So we don't like Roland. What a surprising turn of events. We get Kaltain featured before Nehemia. How strange. Okay, this Kaltain chapter gets weirder and weirder. She talks about her headaches. Again, this poor girl and her damn headaches. But something about like crows flapping, but she's underground in this prison. That's so weird. And then she was like, sometimes I think they brought me here not to marry Parrington, but to use me. And Selena's like, use you for what, girl? And Kaltain says this. She says, they never say. When they come down here, they never tell me what they want. I don't even remember. It's all just fragments. Shards of a broken mirror, each gleaming with its own individual image. 1, the writing, Miss Mass, that is a crazy sentence. 2, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what is that? I am standing on my theory from the last book that they are drugging or manipulating or using magic or something on Kaltain. Because this girl's crazy. This girl's psychotic. But anyways, I'm proud of Selena for throwing her cloak. That was very kind. And it just makes me love her even more. But Kaltain, this is wild. This is a wild subplot that's happening. And I don't know how to feel about it. Oh my god. I spoke too soon again. It gets even weirder. The next sentence, the next page starts with Kaltain wrapped Selena's cloak around herself. Something is coming, she whispered, and I am to greet it. What the fuck? What? What? What is she greeting? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, actually, what do you mean? What is this subplot? That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, wait, I saw Nehemia's name. Oh, yay! She's coming finally. Okay, another, still crazy that we heard from Kaltain before we heard from Nehemia, but I digress. Okay, I actually need to take a break. After that chapter with Kaltain, that was wild. This girl is crazy. Like, something is going on there. I can't express that enough. Something's not right with Kaltain, and she needs help. Send help to my girl. And we finally heard from Nehemia, so I'm so excited about that. We are taking a break at chapter 10 here. I'm 75 pages in, which is pretty good for like an hour of reading. Like, that's pretty decent. I'm going to cook myself dinner, and I need to wash my bedding. I should have started that sooner, because now it's probably not going to be done until late tonight. But I'm going to be up late anyways, so that's not a big deal. And we're going to start the laundry, start dinner, and then I'm going to come back here, and I think I'm going to crochet and listen to the audiobook for a while. So let's do it.
Side of a mountain above a silver lake. Aniel, Kaol's home. He lunged for her again, but she'd already grabbed his poisoned dagger.
Holy cow, the craziest thing just happened to me. So I made dinner and I cleaned the kitchen, and then I made myself some hot chocolate, which is now just room temperature chocolate milk because of what just happened. But I had put my duvet in the washer many hours ago, before I even started cooking, like a long time ago, like at least 2 hours, maybe 3. And I was like cleaning the kitchen, and I started the dishwasher and made my hot chocolate, and then I was like, before I sit down, I'm gonna go switch over the laundry before I forget. And it's still washing. And I was like, it has never taken that long to wash my duvet. I've washed my duvet in that washer probably dozens, 20, 40, 50 times, you know? Like, I've lived here a year, so like a lot of times. And I've never had a problem. And so I like pause the washer and I open it up. The machine is just full of water. And so I like shift the duvet around and got my sweater like all soaked. So I have a outfit change, obviously, and turn it back on, and it's still not draining. It's actually filling even more. So I pull this like soaking wet duvet out all over my carpet. My carpet right there is soaked. I like get it on a towel and into a bathroom that has like hardwood floors, so at least it's not soaking up our carpet. And trying to figure out how to get this water out of my washing machine. Nothing is working. I tried the spin and drain cycle. I unplugged it. I reset the washer. Nothing. Nada. And so I put the duvet in the dryer, because I'm like, what am I going to do with this sopping wet duvet? And when I mean sopping wet, like there was like pockets of water in it. Like that looked like water balloons. And so I put it in the dryer, and then my dryer like starts going all wonky because this thing weighs like 50, 60 pounds now. Like, it's so heavy. It took me a minute to get it up in there. I have a stacking washer and dryer, and like I just didn't even know what to do. And I'm home alone, and so I call my boyfriend, and he's like 2 hours away at his parents' house. And I was like, I have no idea what to do, but I don't want to call maintenance. I don't want some strange man in my apartment while you're not here. Like, I don't know what to do. And so he was like, okay, hold on, I'll start Googling it. I like reach my hand in there, and it was clean water, thankfully, so it's not like it was gross. And so I was like fine with that. And pulled it out, and then all the water just like gushes like out of this machine. And I was like worried that it was gonna flood the hose. Like I was like so nervous standing there. But it finally drained. And so then I like stood there for like 2 minutes just like trying to de-stress. I don't know why that situation stressed me the fuck out, but it did. I was not having it. And so I finally get the courage to pull the duvet out of the dryer because it's still sopping wet and now it's just leaking into my dryer. So I pull it out of that and try and get it into the washing machine, but these like water balloons are still in it, and so they're like leaking everywhere. The carpet's drenched again, and I finally stuff it back into the washing machine, and right now it's finally spinning. I'm like listening close for it because I'm scared that it's gonna start filling with water again, but that was so stressful. And for what? Just because I decided to do something productive and clean my sheets. Should have just left them. They were not even that dirty. They were like 2-week-old sheets. This is what happens when I try to do productive things. Anyways, you don't care about any of that, but I have to share that because that was so emotionally draining. And now I'm off schedule with my book. But anyways, while I sit here with my lukewarm chocolate milk, I made it to chapter 15 while I was eating and cooking. And I honestly don't even remember what's happening now that I think about it. Let me read the last page and refresh myself here. Where are we at? Oh! Where she, like, is in the she saw that thing outside the library a long time ago. That, like, monster, that hooded animalistic creature thing that, like, sniffed at her, which was a really weird way to describe how it talked to her. Like, it reacted to her. I don't know. Words are hard right now because my adrenaline is, like, coming down. But the fact that I have adrenaline over my washing machine is crazy. I need to, like, get out more. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, she saw him in the library, and so she went back to the library, like, all armed with her weapons and stuff, and she found the secret passageway that's down in the library, and she went down that, and, like, the descriptive writing for that was so cool. And then she finds this iron door, and she sticks her blade under there that's, like, reflective, and she sees a shadowy creature behind this iron door, and that scared me. So I was kind of on edge, okay? I'm gonna justify my behavior, if you don't mind. I was kind of on edge listening to that. It was kind of spooky. I get spooked easily. So I was just like on edge from this monster in this make-believe world, and then my washer flooded my whole apartment, which is the story I'm going to tell everybody because I'm dramatic, and I can be, and that's okay. I'm literally just a girl. Anyways, enough of this chatty nonsense. I am back. I might heat my chocolate milk up. It was supposed to be hot chocolate. I might go heat this back up. All of that aside, I am ready to lock back in on this book. I have a lot of ground to cover. We're 115 pages in, so we still have 300 pages. It's looking less and less likely that I'll finish it tonight. So I've reached like peak chattiness at this point, and I just need to get this audiobook started. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do.
To Dorian, where comparisons could easily be made. And though she heard every nasty rumor about home, she couldn't help but feel a shred of pity for the boy. It was a bold song to sing. Dedicating it to the king's family was even bolder. But the royals made no outcry. Even the king just stared blankly at Rena, as though she weren't singing about the very power he outlawed 10 years ago. As his secret guards dragged Rena Goldsmith forward, the butcher's block at the center of the room was already soaked with blood. Her companion's headless corpse.
Does he kill the musician?
His blood trickling toward the drain in the floor, forcing her to look at the king as he stepped forward. It is punishable by death to speak of or to encourage magic.
Oh,
it is an affront to the gods.
I hate
and
this
an affront
guy.
to me that you sang such a song in my hall. Rena Goldsmith just stared at him, her eyes bright. She hadn't struggled when his men grabbed her after the performance.
Can't believe he killed those musicians.
Every move that he knew hers, as though they'd been dancing this waltz together all their lives. Nonsense friends. Swell Calicolla's friends. To expand the labor, but it was true. He couldn't tackle Calicula, not without causing a lot of trouble for both himself and Nehemia.
Made it to chapter 24 and Kale and Selena got together. Stay calm, everybody stay calm, it's happening. I'm like so happy about it. He says he'll go with her when she leaves the kingdom and he's like so good to her. And the birthday dinner that she set up for him was so sweet. And she told him that she's not killing the people and he was really nice about that. Ugh. I'm like swooning for this relationship. I'm very happy about it. But also, I finished another Shamrock and this one is like still flimsy, but less flimsy than the other one that I didn't like. So I think I will just stick with this pattern. It's really cute. Honestly, like, that's a really cute hot pad. And it's obviously not a pot holder. If you try to grab a pot with this, you're going to burn your hand. But luckily, my family is smart enough to not do that. I give them the benefit of the doubt. Definitely making progress on the book. I think it's 2 parts, right? I don't even know if I'm close to the second part. Oh, I'm not. I'm about 40 pages out from part 2. The Queen's Arrow. Should I read the last page? What? I can't believe I just did that to myself. I go, should I read the last sentence before part 2? The last sentence before part 2 is Nehemia was dead. How in this many pages does that happen? I can't believe I just did that to myself. She better pull an Akhtar and bring that bitch back from the dead. Holy shit. I can't believe I just spoiled that for myself. Oh my god. Well, now we have to read those 40 pages and find out how the fuck Nehemia dies. Because an entire death of a main character in that little space, that's wild. I'm sorry, but you mean to tell me that Nehemia and Queen Elena were in cahoots this whole time? This whole time? And they're trying to figure out between Dorian and Selena which one will help them? Just when I think I know what's going on, I don't know what's going on. And knowing that Nehemia dies at the end of this part, because I spoiled that earlier, makes this even more crazy. Dorian is pissing me off. Seriously, this guy finds out he has magical powers, and as if that's not the coolest thing in the world, and he has the audacity to say, let's see, he'd surely kick himself for being so brash, but he had exhausted every other way of finding out why he was plagued by magic. Plagued. This dude's so dramatic. This was his only option to go see Baba Yellowlegs, the witch. Be so fucking for real. Be so for real, Dorian. As if it's not super cool that you have magic. I understand your dad is like a narcissist and can't handle anybody being better than him, so he outlawed magic so that nobody could overthrow him. But that doesn't mean it's not cool. Good morning. It is Saturday now, and it's like a nice, cold, gloomy Saturday here in SoCal. which I'm absolutely loving this weather. So it is the perfect weather to cozy up on the couch and finish this book. Last night I made it to chapter 27, which is page 213. So I have 200 pages to go, definitely doable to get that done today. I am going to make some coffee and then get cozy on the couch and dive back in. Oh my god, they like took Cain. That's crazy. Who took him? Archer? In the rebellion? That's crazy. It says, we have the captain. When you're tired of stalking us, come find us here. So that's like definitely Archer and the men on the list. Bring no one, or the captain will die before you set foot in the building. If you fail to arrive by tomorrow morning, we'll leave what's left of him on the banks of the Avery. Oh my god, this poor girl. If this happens to her twice, first Sam and now Kale, this poor girl's never gonna love ever again. Even he had never realized just how calm she could get when she went over the edge. If they wanted Aderlin's assassin, they'd get her, and word helped them when she arrived. I'd be so scared of her if she came hunting me. That's crazy. Now we're switching to Kale's POV. Oh my gosh. I hope he's okay. Did Kale know that they're gonna hurt Nehemia? Was he in on this? I'm gonna be like so heartbroken if he was in on this. Hi again. It has been a couple of days since I finished Crown of Midnight, but I think I'm finally ready to discuss because I've digested it. But I gave this book 5 stars. 5 stars. I think this is the only 5-star read I have had this year, and that's pretty crazy. But I loved this book. Part 2 was absolutely insane. I was like running through it, so I didn't even pick up my phone to take many like reaction clips during it, so sorry for the lack of content on part 2, but we're gonna discuss it now, so I'm gonna make up for it. But this was incredible. So many twists and turns I did not see coming. I'm definitely getting on the Throne of Glass series hype train because of this book now. Not that I didn't love Throne of Glass, the book, but this is like so much better than that book. But that one set this book up to be wonderful, so we can't have one without the other. It's not a standalone thing, you know? Okay, so starting in part 2, we find out Nehemia is dead, and that is absolutely insane. I'm still upset about that. I'm still hoping Sarah J. Maas pulls one of her tricks out of her hat and like re-alives Nehemia, honestly. But I don't see that happening, so I'm trying to like brace myself for that not happening. We find out a lot of things about Nehemia after her death, that she was like with the rebels, she knew about the tomb, she knew about the riddle, like she knew about a lot she wasn't telling Selena. So then Selena tries to kill Kale, and Dorian somehow uses his magic to stop her hand from like stabbing Kale, the final blow. Which is kind of crazy. And at the time, I did think it was a plot hole because I didn't know how he knew how to like harness his magic. But later on, it tells us like that was a fluke. He has no idea how he did it. And it's seeming like he's only able to really like harness his powers and use his powers when he is having like a large emotional reaction, essentially. Like he was so angry about his dad and the prison and stuff. So then he punched the wall and it fractured. So that was like a large emotional reaction. And then he was able to, I guess he was able to like move books or something. I don't remember that happening, but they mentioned that in this book. And then he was able to stop Selena's hand because he was like so stressed and like needed to do something, didn't know what to do. That's like a large emotional reaction. So I think that's how he gets his powers until he's like trained with his powers, essentially, I think. Oh, anyways, more on that to come, hopefully, in the next books. So then they throw Selena in the dungeons with Kaltain, and Kaltain, like, tells us some crazy shit. And it kind of puts the pieces together for me of there's something fishy going on with the king, which we later is confirmed. So she gives Selena some clues. She's able to connect some of the dots and stuff. So then it goes on, and they pull Selena out of the dungeons, and she's like going to seek vengeance for Nehemia. She ends up tracking Grave down because she realizes it was Grave that did the killing because of how mutilated the body was. She kills Grave, and she brings his head back to the council meeting, like storms in on the king's council meeting and drops it in front of Mulligan, and he is then sent to the dungeons because Selena presumed that he hired Grave. We later find out that is not the case. So that's crazy. I was fully believing that it was Mulligan and Grave. It made sense in my head. So yeah. So then Selena goes to see Baba Yellowlegs, and it gets crazy intense from that point on, honestly. All of part 2 is crazy intense, but I think from the Baba Yellowlegs encounter to the end is where I was like, I can't even put this down. Like, I was like, face in, just going at it, you know? So she goes to see Baba Yellowlegs and gets crazy information from her. She is really a witch. Baba Yellowlegs is. Tries to kill Selena. Selena ends up killing her, burns her body, and runs away. But from that encounter with Baba Yellowlegs, she learns that Dorian has some sort of magic and is snooping around to find out what to do with that. And yeah, so she also learns that magic still exists and all this stuff. I think she's kind of just a solo agent now, which I kind of like. I'm hoping maybe she doesn't find any love interests and we focus more on like this journey. But I did like the love interest aspect of it. Like, I do love a good romantasy. I just feel like this is set up to be such an amazing just fantasy series that we don't even need the romance, you know? So anyways, she sees Baba Yellowlegs, and then she goes snooping down in the dungeon. She takes all of the blades and stuff. She goes to see what that creature was. She learns how to use the word marks to unlock the doors. She goes down in that secret catacomb under the library where she saw those eyes in part 1, I believe. And so she goes down there, and turns out Dorian is tracking her. So Dorian's kind of on to her as well. So he's following her down into this catacomb, and she's unlocking what seems to be a series of prisons. I'm just picturing what I was picturing when I read Akhtar, when they're going under the mountain. Not under the mountain, but in the mountain, the prison mountain, to see the bone carver, and they have to like circle down past all these doors. That is what I'm picturing in this moment. And at the end is where the bone carver was, like that final cell. And so she's kind of going there. But instead of the bone carver being at the end of these cells, it's the clock tower. And I have been clocking that clock tower since book 1. I knew something was sus about that, and I'm proud of myself for picking up on that. I never usually pick up on stuff like that, like very subtle details. But I think the more fantasy I read, the better I get at that. So I'm proud of myself for that. But I knew the clock tower was suspicious. I guess it's made of, I think it's essentially one of the word keys. There's 3 of them, and we know the king has 1 at least. So I'm thinking this clock tower is what he either used the word key that was in Elena's crown to make. Like, he made this clock tower, and it's dulling magic or something. But like this, she went in and she had like a pounding headache, and then I was like, oh my god, that's why Kaltain has a pounding headache. And then the black rings made sense. Like, the black rings must be made from this same thing, and they're able to use that to like dull the people around them, which is causing Kaltain to have these headaches and these, I'm still not sure about these flapping wings, but she's going to greet something. So I'm not sure. Then she goes to see Kaltain because she's kind of putting the whole flapping wings headache thing together. Kaltain's gone. She went with Duke Parrington to be married somewhere. Supposedly it's because of like a prison uprising in Calcula. I'm not sure. They barely touched on that. But so Kaltain's gone, so we can't get any more answers from Kaltain, which sucks because that girl probably like could have told us exactly what was happening. Anyways, so then she goes back down she's like in her pits of grief, right? And she decides she's going to open a portal to talk to Nehemia. And everybody says, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Mort's like, don't do that. Everybody's like, don't do that. So she's doing it because this girl doesn't listen to anybody, right? So me too, girl, me too. So then the King Brannon, I'm not sure. The king who was married to Elena goes to Dorian in a dream and says, hey, go get Selena. She's doing something bad. Dorian goes to get Kale. They run down to the tomb. Selena's in the tomb talking to Nehemia. The portal's still open and some like creatures start to come through it from some sort of land. And it's the one time Fleetfoot comes down into the tomb because Nehemia was there. So she comes running down. And of course, Fleetfoot gets injured. And I was like, if they kill this dog, I'm not reading the rest of the series. I was like, no, I'm done. I will call it quits. Thankfully, Fleetfoot survives thanks to Kale. But Fleetfoot gets dragged into this like portal realm. And Kale has to go save Fleetfoot. Selena then goes in the portal realm to save Kale. Turns out Selena's Fae. I was like, I did not see that coming. I didn't think she was Fae, but that's crazy. So she goes in, she has powers. She's able to like save Kale. And with Damaris, she cuts the ground and like the monsters are cut off. And so then they come back into our world, or they come back into like Rifthold's world. And Kale's like scared shitless of Selena, right? And so Dorian's knocked out. Dorian has no idea what's going on. He wakes up and Kale's just scared of Selena. Fleetfoot's back. There's like a ridge around where there was land. He's like, what's happening? And so he's like not fully filled in, but Kale's like starting to put the pieces together that holy shit, Selena's Fae. How is she Fae? Why is she not Fae in this world? Like all this stuff, right? That puts together the pieces in my head of like her always saying, you know, an old name she used to be called by, or her old life, old powers within her. She's been hinting at that for a while. I don't know why I didn't pick that up. I picked up the clock tower, but I didn't pick up the Fae thing. So I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Kale decides that it's probably best for Selena's safety to send her to Wendlin, I believe. And so he proposes that to his father in exchange. He's like, will you back me up on this if I come home to Aniel? And his father's like, done, deal. And obviously that's like making the deal with the devil, right? And so Kale's like upset, but it's for Selena's good. Which made me love him a little bit again. Like, I'm like, oh, Kale really does love Selena. It's really sad what happened to them. That would have been like a really cool love story, but it just keeps happening to this girl. This poor girl keeps getting these men ripped out of her life. The book ends with Selena going off to Wendlin on the boat. Kale tells her that he loves her right before she gets on the boat, and then Selena whispers something to him that we don't know. Like, it wasn't written down for us to read and perceive, but she whispers something to Kale and she's like, please forgive me when you understand, or something. And he's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then he's like, I love you. And she gets on the boat and leaves. And then the final chapter of the book is Kale going to her rooms, finding the genealogy books that Dorian had put there for safekeeping. So he finds the genealogy books that Dorian put there for safekeeping, and he learns that Selena is actually like Aelin Ashriver Galathinius, and like high Fae, like very powerful Fae lineage. And he's like, oh my god, I just sent King's biggest rival away and like to the kingdom of the Fae. And so he's like panicked about that, and that's where the book ends. And that's so crazy. So we have so much moving into the next book. The next book is technically Heir of Fire, but everybody says to read The Assassin's Blade next. So I will be doing that. I know that this one is like a series of, I think, essentially short stories, like The Assassin and the Empire. I think the first one's about pirates or something, right? The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. There's like different short stories in here about Selena's past and how she got to Endovier, I think. That's what I have gathered from this. I've heard this one is very heartbreaking. It tells the story of her losing Sam, like of her loving Sam and losing Sam. So this is what I will be reading next. I'm a little scared, but everybody says third is when to read this book. So that's what I will be doing. But so far we are 2 books into the Throne of Glass series. I absolutely adore it so far. I think I gave Throne of Glass, I think 4 stars. I'm giving Crown of Midnight 5 stars, and it's a firm 5 stars. Could potentially be like a 6-star read. Honestly, by the time this series is over, who knows? If you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and thank you for coming back. If you're a returner here, I hope to see you for the Assassin's Blade reading vlog in the coming weeks.